Hey Matthew, it's great to have you here.
Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
Absolutely. Always enjoy connecting with you. Um, yeah, so we're doing a little series to try to get some do a little prophesizing, into
Mhm.
2024 from, some
Right.
folks in the on-chain music space who have kind of been in the weeds, just to get a sense of kind of the good and the bad, all of the gray areas in the middle, and kind of what you're seeing right now, what trends you're seeing, what are some of the things you're excited about that are happening at the moment that you think will carry over into 2024. What are potentially some of the downsides and the things you're not so excited about that you're seeing. Yeah, if you could riff on those two things, it'd be awesome.
Mhm. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I like it. Prophesizing. Let's see how we do when we look back at this next year.
Yeah, indeed.
Um, yeah, I think it's an interesting moment now as we wind down 2023 and start looking towards the new year, especially zooming in on the music NFT space. Like what comes to mind first is I saw yesterday Black Dave share a tweet about how, all in within a week or so, we saw SonaStream go live.
Hmm.
Catalog yesterday announced their very like major upgrades coming with Catalog Radio and cosigns, and Sound announcing that they just acquired a startup. I can't remember the name. I don't know if you know it.
Soho, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, something like that, for their mobile app and social experience, which was interesting to see too. Like I think that's kind of
Yeah,
perhaps like the first acquisition, at least the closest acquisition I've felt
yeah, yeah.
to this space,
Hmm.
which is interesting to see
Hmm.
in its own right. But yeah, just in general, like it's cool to see as the year winds down in what has been like a relatively quieter year for on-chain music and just like the on-chain ecosystem as a whole, to see these little upticks of energy in these
Hmm.
different ways, and maybe I'll tack on to that list, from a place of deep bias. We just ran our Camp 4 after also a long time kind of out of the central limelight of like running a camp, with Chaos or Camp 3 happening last summer or summer 2022. So it's been a long ways away. And now we just ran that camp and it felt really good to like still see that there was interest and energy around it, in a way that exceeded our expectations, I would say. And the musicians involved, which is really the most important part, those participating were very blown away by the feedback and like reception of it. So I think there's like energy here. I think we're all very much fumbling in the dark, and it's cool to see these projects experimenting in new routes with like these, like for instance the catalog and sound announcements. My sense as I squint towards the future, as I squint towards 2024, is that a renewed, like a fresh energy to try things that I think we stopped trying or slowed down on trying in 2022 will come back. I think
Hmm.
this transcends like the music space, but just like crypto on-chain ecosystem as a whole, or this like creator and crypto space we find ourselves in. A lot of the DAO and like collective energy, I would say, like dissipated this year as like things all fell and everyone got way more pragmatic.
Hmm.
Um, and I think it was like a necessary correction because I think we were approaching those things in like deeply unnuanced ways. It was just like, oh, we can collectively run things. Let's collectively decide on everything all the time. And
Right.
we just like rode the energy of the hype cycle. Now I think I'm hoping to see a matured energy and a more nuanced energy head into the sort of DAO ideals. And I think music has a very strong potential in that area, as we see with like what I've been investing my time in for the last two and a half so years of like collective creation over the internet using on-chain tech as like coordination systems. So I'm excited to see new experiments like that ignite. I intend to facilitate and like participate and contribute to them in the new year. Um, and I guess like tethered to that is just a more general feeling, hunch that we may find just like new momentum and a new meta take flight that we all kind of latch onto into 2024. Like, to me, it feels, and this is speaking from a place of like having not, I'm not like I don't have a huge gray beard and have gone through many cycles, like crypto cycles, as many as people have. This is really my first like cycle. You know, I came into the space late 2020 as we were on our way up. That being said, like, it feels like this year was the year where we like had to sludge through mud to stick with it and make it to the other side. And I don't know, maybe it's the holidays coming and maybe it's like that turn of the year, fresh energy that I'm buying into a little bit. But yeah, I just have a feeling like a new narrative and a new meta, might take hold of our collective consciousness in 2024 that might add to an uptick of momentum and excitement. And maybe the last thing I'll lob in there related to that is, you know, I shared on like the DAO energy side, but I think on the other side, like the tools at our disposal are really reaching a point now where we can create things that like abstract away this tech and allow people to engage with it that don't have this like, you know, curiosity, this deep curiosity like you and I have that like push us through the friction of using this stuff. And I really felt that experientially in this camp because we had two or three musicians, producers in the camp who really don't engage in crypto at all. They're in the camp because like I've worked with them in the past and I pull them in here, but they're not here on their own sort of like curiosity. And so just helping them along the way shows that even now, with even like Camp 4 and us using L2s and cross-chain minting and all these different things, like it's still crazy confusing. So it feels like we're getting to a place where we can engage like this more consumer activity and do things with a broader audience, but the tools need to like coalesce. We need to like figure out what L2s to use and how to kind of fit these tools together so that we can engage a much broader audience.
Cool. Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. Thank you. Actually, you know, I think you nailed it. I totally agree with you. I mean, I think, you know, the sort of the pragmatic correction, you know, feels necessary. And, you know, actually I think you can kind of see that in, you know, that the example you just gave of having folks who are entering the space without really knowing that they're entering the space. You know, they're part of this like, you know, collaborative project like Songcamp, because of what Songcamp is about, not because it has anything to do with Web3, you know, and that over time sort of, you know, smoothing out this narrative that you're talking about. I really like that, you know, that approach of just like, now that there is more pragmatism, more understanding of like how Web3, you know, especially even from like a legal perspective, like how some of these things can, you know, or don't interact with, you know, like real world kind of legal systems, which, you know, is really important. Like having that, you know, kind of ironed out and, you know, having more people come into the space who are like, oh yeah, I guess it's not everything that I thought it was or wasn't, should even out the narrative that is either just like, you know, hype based or like, you know, really stigmatized, you know, hopefully.
Right. Yeah, but even like that, I guess, it's interesting because we're in a very like this space is very ideals oriented. Like it's been a self-selection filtration system of people with like certain ideals. At the same time, like, yeah, I like that. Like this pragmatic correction, I think, is very healthy because I think for anything to actually be sticky and like matter, it probably more often than not, it's like it needs to make a step difference in our lives and our experiences and the ways that we're engaging with it, and not like, you know, this is going to change everything and save every single
blow up the, you know, all like the legacy systems and stuff. Yeah.
Right. Like, yeah, exactly. And so I think if we can now start to orient ourselves to like, okay, what is it that actually matters here? yeah, it's exciting, really, when you think about it more and more. Like that wave of people have gone through the last couple of years and have stuck around
Hmm.
and are bringing that insight and that knowledge and that experience into this next, what feels like this next phase. It's very exciting, and I think the thing that I've learned, again, like experientially from going through this now, is like, and probably people who've gone through multiple cycles can speak to this. Like I thought cycles was just like money up, money down, but
Hmm.
it's not. It's like attention down, people gone, like your thoughts change, like your relationships with people in the space change. Like it's 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 such a novel space, and maybe it is like sadly tied a lot to like the money figure, but who's to say if that's a cause or a symptom? It's,
Right.
it's just like the attention kind of concaves and convex, it expands, and like it inhales and it exhales. And I guess what I've learned in now having gone through the last year is like you almost need an exhale. like
Mm.
I was yesterday, I was starting to dream again and like lift my head from C4 towards the future. And that was something I was trying to do a lot a year ago, but I was hitting this like ceiling. And finally, at some point this year, I was like, oh, what my role is actually just to go and do something. Like, I don't need to figure it all out. We just need to go and do something, because action produces the next action and the new information that we need. So let's just like go and do this next camp, and we did that. But it's like now I'm starting to see like, oh yeah, maybe now we can dream again, and there's like more space because we gave ourselves this time to like unwind and exhale out of this exuberant dreamscape edging on delusion. Like those belief systems are become very sticky because they worked so well.
Hmm.
They worked so well when everything was working so well. And
Yeah.
so to like unstick from those takes like a year, maybe more, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is like, a lot of the ideals, not all of the ideals. I think oftentimes the ideals that aren't directly tied to the money in this space, are really beautiful, and I hope like are continued, to be embraced, even with this, quote unquote pragmatic correction that comes. Like we should still strive to like make the world a better place and like use the
For sure.
technology for all of these things that for the same reasons that people want to go out and blow up the legacy system. It's like we can still do it like in a stepwise manner, but like still maintain the vision.
100%. 100%.
Cool. Um, yeah, I mean that's really it, Matthew. Thank you so much. I think
Cool.
we got plenty there, and thank you, and I appreciate your vision, and I hope that what you're seeing and what you're feeling comes to fruition next year.
It will be cool to look back
Yeah,
in a year and see
one
where we
one year
are.
from now. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can do this
Um,
again exactly
yeah,
a
that
year
would be
from now
cool.
and
That would be fun.
see what happens. Um,
And but I thank you for the prompt too. It's fun to think about. So
yeah, totally. It's a nice little, exploratory exercise. And who knows? They can kind of become self-fulfilling prophecies. Other people see this like, oh, next
for
year's gonna be a
sure,
good year. You know.
for sure,
Um,
we'll manifest it.
exactly. Uh, yeah, cool, man. So I have to jump to a different call actually, but it was
Sure
still
thing.
down for me to hop into the heartbeat call on Monday and just give a couple minutes to the project. That's cool.
Yeah, so next week we're having like our book club style call. So
Okay.
another member, an artist by the name of El Ariel, is going to be facilitating that. But I'll let her know that maybe at the top of the call, once we like before jumping into like that portion of it, could share about that.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, that
Uh,
sounds good.
give
Whatever
that
works
some
for me.
space.
I'm flexible. So yeah, thank you for
Okay,
making the
cool.
space. I appreciate it.
Sure thing. We are going to be taking a small break after this call. Just letting you know in case. So we'll be back in the new year after this one. But so this would be a good one to jump on.
Okay. Perfect. Um, yeah, cool, man. Well then, I guess I'll see you again. Thank you again for your time and your energy and your thoughts. I really appreciate it.
For sure. Yeah. Thanks for asking. Yes. It's fun to
Yeah,
chat.
absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, I'll see you Monday, and happy holidays and all of that.
You too. You too. Yeah. Enjoy the rest and
Thank you. You
reprieve.
too.
Yeah.
It's much needed. I can't wait.
Hell yeah.
Cool, man. All right, well, take care.
Dude. Yeah. See you.
Bye.